Hello and welcome back to another live stream. I'm Phase Motion. We are jumping back into Space Engineers, Areas at War. I'm just checking the sound levels. I've been tweaking some. Oh, I've got a stream playing in the background. Hang on 1 second.
Gravity.
I was prepared ahead of time. And I had like 5 minutes to spare, and so I was tweaking some things and making some coffee and finishing listening to a stream by Future Wellington 6012. I'm catching up on a playthrough that he's been doing of Areas at War. I'm on episode 43. I think he's done like 60 or something so far, and he's still ongoing. And yeah, that was playing in the background. So yeah, apologies about that. Today is going to be a fairly chill stream. We've got our crystal mining base set up. There's our Calypso, our newest ship, over there, perched precariously at the landing pad. So the base is pretty much there. I popped back to the magnesium mining base, picked up the latest blueprint, and then applied it to this. It was a small difference from the blueprint that we had, so it wasn't a huge deal. It did come with this our docking arm that we had put on there, so that was a nice addition. That means that we can dock up this ship and our fighter ship pretty easily, which is pretty cool. I'm running, I use the plug-in version of Space Engineers. And the plug-in version comes with the normal game, but you have to launch it manually. And it allows you to install plugins, the newest version of plugins. There was an old plugin launcher that they had before, but they dropped that, they depreciated it. And they've got a new one, which is more robust. And there's a plugin that you can install which does subgrids from projections, which is really cool. So yeah, that handles things like this arm, which is on a rotor and a bunch of hinges and pistons and that sort of stuff. So it handles those. Let's just take a quick look. I had a slight problem yesterday where Bob was chewing off these these subgrids here, but that's fixed. There's a setting in Bob that you can set to stop it doing that, and I will show that to you now. So if you go to the build and repair, and we'll just pick any of them, and it's the setting, I think it's the setting down here. So that is, it's off. I think it's this one here, grind neutral blocks. It's one of these two, and this one's set at the moment and it's not grinding that, so yeah, that's a good thing. So what else did we do? We dropped in this refinery that comes with the scenario, the exotic material refinery. And that handles the new ores that come with this scenario. So now it is happily chewing through the crystal. We have 3 PAM miners set up. Initially I started out just by kind of drilling a big hole that I've now filled in and covered with some blocks, so I don't keep on falling down it. And I wanted to see, was this actually water, or was it the whole thing just ice? It turns out that this thing is just ice. It goes down about 7.5 meters from the surface. So it's like a frozen lake. And then you hit rock. And, normal drills, the big drills, they're fine in some situations, but specifically for this, the PAM miners are better. So we've set up one of the PAM miners here to mine ice. We've set up the area that it mines to be pretty big, because this is going to be completely automated. It goes down about the right type of depth, And yeah, it just picks it up, brings it back, and then it's handled by the base. We've got a lot of hydrogen tanks here, and I put in a big chunk of the H2O2 generators. Originally it was going to be 5, but at the rate it was producing hydrogen, it was just a bit slow for what I wanted. I wanted something faster. So this is happily filling up the tanks. It's also filling up the Calypso just there. So I wanted this to be a proper kind of hydrogen refueling site. In addition, because we did land and build a base on a frozen lake, so let's take advantage of that. Other than that, this base is the standard setup that we have elsewhere. So we've got a couple of refineries. We also have this exotic one as well, and we have a single assembler. The refineries are set up for yield, and the assembler is set up for speed. Power generation is mostly through turbines with a backup of 2 reactors. And we have event controllers set up just over here, which monitor 2 things. So this one is monitoring the batteries. And should the batteries go below 95%, then it will turn on the reactors. And we don't use much uranium at all. We do have a ton of uranium because we have a nice big uranium asteroid in space. So we barely go through any. With the wind turbines, with the batteries that we have, yeah, it's actually plenty. In fact, given that this is a hydrogen base, we could also use hydrogen engines as well. This one here is monitoring the tanks. Actually, this needs to be changed because we've not added the new tanks that we have to it. So let's just make sure that all of those are added. I think there's all those. So let's add those and then make sure we have and selected down here. Okay. And this does a similar sort of thing to the battery. So it monitors the amount the tanks are filled. And if they are below, equal to or less than, so if they're below 99%, then it will turn on the H2O2 generators. Because I added those H2O2 generators recently, then yeah, they're already on. So that's not a big deal. I should check that the H2O2 gens, yeah, it's got all those in the group, and then it uses the group to toggle them on and off through the actions. It's pretty straightforward stuff, but it basically makes sure that these generators and these 2, this is what we had by in our blueprint, that they only come on when the tanks actually need some help, which is good. In terms of hydrogen tanks, we have these 6 over here, and there's 1 more under the floor just here for a bit of protection. The stuff that's under the floor here is stuff from the standard blueprint. So yeah, it's industrial storage, some batteries, and 1 tank. So we've got those things set up. We also have Izzy's inventory management, and we have PAM set up in station mode. So PAM in station mode can control 6 miners on the station. We have 3 at the moment, and we're going to set a few more up. So in station mode, basically, it's pretty straightforward. I was thinking about doing a tutorial video on this. So it's pretty straightforward. You install PAM like you would on a miner, and then you use custom data. You turn broadcast on, and you pick which channel it is. We have this set up in the other base as well, so we use the default channel there. And in this base, we actually use channel 2. So it keeps the 2 bases pretty separate. And then once that's set up, you also need a control seat. So we have one over here. And then you can use PAM just as you would from a miner, and we have that set up there. And we also have a screen set up so we can monitor the connected ships through here. And then in terms of naming, I've changed the naming approach that I use a little bit. So prefix with minor, just so we can see the minor ships. And then the first 2 digits, I'm not really sure why I'm using 2, but you know, it's a kind of default that I go to. So O2 is the base number. So this is the second base that we have. So it's O2. And then basically the next 2 digits are the minor numbers. And so we have O1, which is the crystal, we have O2, which is ice, and we have O3, which is gold. That's going to be our gold mine. And we're also going to add a couple more because there's cobalt. This is another reason why we picked this particular spot, because we have cobalt nearby. So we're going to need a miner for cobalt. So we have a small little construction area on this site. I probably need to move it because this big ship takes up a lot of space and it kind of overlaps a little bit. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain. So we have this set up already. So this is a little helm. It's already set up with the projector that we have on this small hinge head. Let's put the projection on, and it's already set up because I've printed a few ships already. And let's just add the blocks that we grind off. And I don't have any steel on me. Grab a bit from here. That should be good enough. And as I said, this is, we've built a few miners already, so this is pretty much set up to go. Just add these 2 blocks, and then Bob's your uncle. And then the build and repair Bob will kick in and start building the ship out for us. So we have our 4th mining ship set up. We need to extend this a little bit. How many blocks do we have in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 blocks in between, and then the tower block. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the tower block. And that's going to go up. And then we're probably going to add another one. So I'll stick another one in here anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, then the tower block. I'll put that in there. And then I have one of these, I think. Yeah, like this. And then like this, and then I use the half blocks like this, just to give us a little bit of a guide. And I like the way this is set up, so it gives us a kind of clear indication about what's the track of the miner, and helps keep things nice and separate. So there's that one. And then as long as each of the miners kind of stays within its track, we should be good to go. Okay, so there's that. And how high do we have these? 1, 2, 3, 4, just 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I like to use these on top. Oh, interior plate. And then before we go and do the next one, I want to double check that this is okay. After building the base and building a few miners, we... oh, okay. Take that down. I think my projector is still on, but that should stop that from being built. Yeah, after building the base and a few miners, we were running a bit low on pretty much everything, motors, construction components, that sort of stuff. You 2, 3, 4, and then you on top. Might as well keep with the same design that we have already. I usually color my conveyors yellow, so I might go through and do that at some point, because it's a nice visual. Save our hydrogen. And then let's put this here. That there. Did you not got a few misfires recently? And here we probably want the because we have Bob up and it looks like the projection is still running. We have to be a little bit quick. There we go. Not oh, that's the wrong way around. God damn it.
Inventory full.
Okay. There we go. This pipework here, these conveyors, is in a loop, so you know, we're fine. There's a little bit of redundancy. It's a nice visual. I think it's a nice visual thing. So, yeah. Okay, and then up here we have one out. And then you're going to reach. You should reach. And put it that way around because I think the camera is oriented on the top and the bottom. Okay, and then let's just tidy up the oops, wrong way around. Okay, so that's done. That's done. So we now have space for 2 more miners. I might put a searchlight on the end over there when I'm done. Let's go and check this baby out. And I will put a cap on there as well, so that when we move the miner, it doesn't try and build that connector. Okay, that's looking good. It looks complete. And you know, you can always check the projector. So this is a small ship. It says 1 is missing, but actually, what the? it says 5 is missing. Batteries. Are we out of power cells? Yeah, power cells. Okay. That's to be expected, really. There's lots of nickel around here, so let's make enough that we have a bit of a buffer. And there's silicon nearby as well, so you know we're not struggling. There's iron. There's quite a lot of stuff that's here. A lot of it's not like the normal materials are not really on the map. So the nickel deposits, the iron, silicon, they're not on the GitHub map, which is a thing. And because those batteries are partially made, it's not part of the projection. So we can turn Bob off with build new and it will still carry on building those things. But let's wait until it's done because new batteries have 30% power. Okay, that's gonna take just a little bit because it's building those things up. Yeah, they're all done. This is a pretty good miner. Like I've tried a couple of others from the workshop, and there's others which have a better visual. There's a really nice one that I've used on moons and that sort of stuff, but it doesn't handle gravity particularly well. And I was having a chunk of problems with it, so this is only 1G, but it struggles. It struggles a lot. I think there's only just this one battery left. And then that's done, and then we need to, well, we don't need to, but we should kick off the next one. Yeah, one battery left. We can turn off the projector. Check this battery. Looks complete. There we are. Okay. Let's grind out our support. I'm not sure why the texture disappeared. That's probably from the main base projection. I should really turn that off. Okay, so that's done. There's a few standard things that I do, and I really need to make these changes and then save the blueprint. But I always forget. So you know, I've done this God knows how many times. Miner drone 3. Actually, this is 4. Can't type today. So there's the batteries. We can take those off. Take the lights off. I like to, even though I can kind of just go through and select them, I like to find what I'm looking for and then type it in the search, just because 4, wasn't it? Just because it's like a sanity check for me. Clean up that connector and we'll try to make a blueprint. I'd like to see it in the inventory. We can take those ejectors off the list. Don't show in terminal. Don't show in inventory and don't show in here. I think it has a group for gyros. So yeah, I use a specific prefix for the group because when it's docked, it just makes it easier to see. Sorter. That's the filter ones, which are controlled by PAM. Let's turn that off. I don't need to see them. And we can take those off the terminal. And I prefer all detector. And this. And I don't usually hide those because it just gives me a quick way that I can verify that stuff is working. And what camera are you? Camera front. Because I called the front one front, I called this one rear rather than dock. It's only got 2 cameras on there, so that's okay. And I don't really use them that much anyway. The ship is quite tidy. You know, the bank of ejectors on the front, but it's atmospheric. It works really well. Yeah, it's a nice trim looking ship. So we're going to take this. This is done. We're not docked. I've made my changes, so I'm gonna make a bookmark and rename it. Try and be specific with a name because then I can find it again. I often search for the word PAM when I'm looking for the blueprint. So there you go. We can use that one now. And yeah, it's pretty nippy. But as I said, I think I want to move the printing area. Just reset the camera, and let's go and bring this one down. This thing doesn't have any reactors on. Not that it needs it. It doesn't usually go a vast distance. You know, the crystal is like 3 clicks away. Whip it around. That's not quite right. There we go. And then left and down a touch. There we go. And then I've the other thing I usually do, and I should have done this before I blueprinted it. So let's put the batteries on there. I've had a few issues with when it's set up in PAM mode. Sometimes I jump in the miner, and I'm thinking about taking it off to find more ores and that sort of stuff, and I jump in, I just disconnect, and then I've forgotten that PAM has put the batteries on. Let's turn those sorters off. It's put the batteries on recharge, so I disconnect and then I plunge to the ground. That's one of the reasons that these docking connectors are set up as they are. So that's our crystal one just back from another run. We need to tweak the base setup to handle ice and crystal. But this one is built. So we've got one for gold, one for cobalt. I don't think we need to build the fifth one, but we have the port there for when we're ready to use it. Let's go and drop that off. That's good enough for now. The next thing we need to do is we need to change the event controllers that we have here. So there's two. One is set up for the primary ore that we're fetching. So on the magnesium base, that's magnesium. On this base, it's going to be crystal. So one's set up for that, and the other one's set up for ice. And what I do here is basically I have one of the industrial containers for the ore-specific thing that we're doing at this base, so either magnesium or crystal in this case, and one for ice. And what I do is I use Izzy set up for set up special. So let's take a look at the ice one. This is our ice one. So cargo large, ice and special. And when you set up, use the keyword special with Izzy, it tells it that it stores a particular set of things. So you use custom data, and Izzy will pre-populate this for you. You use custom data to say what you want in that storage container. So in this case, we want ice, which is here, under ores. And basically I say this container is only for ice. So all of the ice will end up in this container. And the reason I do that is because then I can use something like an event controller to trigger certain behaviors based on that thing. Now the behaviors I want to do, and this is why we have PAM set up in station mode, is I want to send a command to PAM to tell this particular miner, which is the miner 0202 ice, to either return home, which basically stops the job, or to continue the job. And I've got an example of this this here. So on the toolbar, number 8 and 9 is set up for the other base, so it's magnesium. And yeah, it just sends those commands. And we're going to actually do that again now, so we can test out the ice one. We'll test it out first, and then we'll apply it to the event controller. So let's go to here, and we're going to say PAM. Going to find our PAM controller. Going to run, and then this is what we're going to send to the script. I think it's something like send, and then the ship name miner 0202 ice, and then so send to that ship, and this is the command we want to send. So we want to send, I think it's home. And then to continue the job, what is the command that we want to do? It's something like send miner 0202, and then continue. Let me just switch to the manual. Read the manual. Commands. So home pos and cont. So it's home pos that we want to do, which was 6. So let's try that again. Run, send miner 0202 ice. That's the miner you want to send to, and then it's home pos, all in caps. And then to continue the job, I think send miner 0202 colon cont. Okay, so that's set up. and then if we look at the screen, this is set up for PAM. It's got job that's active. So I'm going to press number 6. And in theory, it's going to tell it to come back. In theory. Let's pop outside, see what's going on. It's this one, I think. And look at the PAM screen. And the last command is move home, which is what we told it to do. So that's good. That looked like it worked. As I said, it's been a little bit since I did this. And now we're going to tell it, we're going to test the continue job command. So it's number 7. That's the one that we just set up. So that's showing job paused from our earlier command. I kind of would have expected it to go now. But when we say continue job, it will, PAM won't take off unless the normal criteria are valid. But the batteries looked okay. It's auto 99%, 100%. What's the inventory? Maybe because it's full. So maybe it's got stone. Maybe because it's got cargo. It's not full. It's because it's in the ejector. I think it's because it's got stuff that's I wouldn't think that the can't move that there. See, this is the problem of not having using a blueprint as a template without having a group that's specifically named. I meant to look at Whip's. He's got a renaming script that can prefix the grid, and I think that would help in this type of situation. Turn those off. Right, empty. Ejector 9. Come on. Can I? That usually doesn't stop PAM. So I think it's we haven't done the command right. I think that's the issue. So let's go over here, and it was. The problem is like it's truncated in the view, and I don't know if that's something that we can tweak. Build info settings. Open chat F2. Look in the top left for mod settings. Oh, I didn't realise I could access the flight vector stuff from here. Oh, and the water mod. I don't actually know where this setting might be. Toolbar? Yeah, now I can't see because of this. Default. Like I want to see if I can increase the size of the panel. And I can't see it at the moment because of the because I have to press F2. And this panel, I can move this panel, can't I? Can I close it? Oh yes, okay. Okay, toolbar box. Off, always on, show and press, HUD hints. Always on. Always show. Style. 2 columns. Okay, so that's just picking which preset it's going to be. Like, it'd be nice if we could see all. And that's just on the left now. That's not going to help. Okay, let's close that off. So the preset centered is nicer, but how single column, 2 columns, I need some kind of width, scale, offset. Okay, that's better. That's affecting the toolbar. Don't really see what that's doing. Position. Can I adjust this? Yeah, that just makes the whole thing bigger or smaller. Like, a bit bigger is nice. In menu scale. That's not doing anything that's helpful. Position, scale, offset. Yeah, I don't block overlays maybe. Text box. Help window. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know half this stuff was in here. Let me just make sure I have my chat window open. Block overlays. Yeah, nothing's showing me HUD. Dampeners info. Some really good stuff in here. I didn't know half the stuff was here. I think that just affects the. It's what we were looking at just now. I don't know how to get it so it's not truncated. Okay. So the problem is we're sending the wrong command, and let me just get access to the manual again. I can't see chat for the minute. And let's try this again. So PAM controller run. Is it send or send command? Oh, it's send. Okay, so it's run, send, minor, 0202 ice. Could be that I've got the ship name wrong. Commands, where's the commands? Continue, should be continue, cont. And let's send, and let's double check the ship name is correct. Minor 0202 ice. I think there's another way to do it as well, which is 1, 2, 3. Oh, ice is active. So maybe I was just being impatient. Okay, if the job is active and we do, well, we're just a bit slow. Is it coming back already? Hello? Too tall for these windows. Yeah, so it's going down. So now if we send it the return home command, okay, that worked. Good. Okay. So just impatient. Okay. So this event controller is for ice, and basically it checks cargo field. It checks the ice container. And if the ice container is equal to or less than 95%, then it sends the action. And it sends action 1 to send out the miner to go and fill up the tanks. And action 2 for the miner to come back home. So PAM controller, and then basically we just do what we just did testing just there. We send miner 0202 ice, and we send it the command. So this is when the inventory is less than 95% ice, so we want it to continue the job. And then for this slot, it's something similar. So we run a command, we send miner 0202 ice, and we send it the command home pos. Okay, and that is that's hunky dory. That's all done. And let's fix this one now. So this is checking for cargo field equal to or less than 95%. Again, checking the crystal storage container. And before I do this, I need to double check the name. And this is miner 0201 crystal. And then select actions, PAM controller, and we run. And this is when the inventory is less than 95%, so we want it to go out and get more crystal. Send miner 02, which is the site number, 01 crystal. And this is when we want it to go out and do some more mining, so we say continue the last job. And then this is when it's more than 95%, so we want it to return home. Miner 0201 crystal, and we want it to do home pos. Now the trick for this is basically making sure that the miner is set up with a big enough area to mine on. For some things like ice, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you can set a massive area and it will happily go off and do it, like this ice miner is doing here. For the crystal, the area that we're drilling in is not super huge, so we will need to come back and reset the area again. But this is going to be happy for some time. I set this the area up to be pretty decent, I think, and we'll double check it before we move on. Okay, so we've fixed those things. PAM is set up. It's all happy. We added a miner here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is going to be for cobalt. So before we kick off, let's go into PAM. White is the current ship. Let's turn broadcast on. I'm going to follow the same naming standard that we had with the other ship. So it's going to be miner 02 for the site, 04 for the number of the miner. And I usually put the mineral name in the miner name just to make it easier to figure out, you know, what is what and what it was up to and that sort of stuff. Because you know, once these mining sites are set up, you know, you don't come back that often, other than to pick things up. So it just kind of makes things a bit easier. It also helps with things like remote connections. You know, if you use a laser antenna and you want to control the site from afar to see how things are going, it allows you to quickly identify what's going on. We're using broadcast channel 2 because this is site 02. So that is set up, and we're going to go and get some, or find the cobalt first, and then we'll set the miner up. And before we do that, let's just make sure that our inventory is clean, that we're stocked up on hydrogen and oxygen, and then give it a few ticks, and then we should see the new miner appear in this list. It may actually already be here, but sometimes these displays, especially when you have a high PCU, some of these displays take a while to refresh. Although interestingly, the PAM block itself is usually more current. If we go to PAM controller and look in here. Oh, there's the commands. Yeah. You can sometimes you know, drag through here. This updates fairly quickly, so it's a little bit of a pain to do. But we can see our miner up here now. So miner 0204, cobalt, no job. Nice. Okay. So that's done. The only thing we haven't done now is actually set the job up. And you can do this in one phase. I usually use 2 phases to do it. So the first phase, I go out, I find the ore deposit, and then I make a bookmark in the right sort of place for PAM to operate. I usually dig one load, and then come back, and then I fly out again manually to the job site. The reason for this, and you don't need to do it this way, but the reason for this is that the second trip out, you can be more optimal about how the ship itself is moving. So, you know, there's less pauses, there's less, you know, fiddling about to get the right orientation and that sort of stuff. So you're all properly aligned. So I usually do it that way around. The batteries are on charge and they're at 100%, so let's put them on auto. We won't record the home position because we'll do that on the second trip. So I think now the engines are on, so we can disconnect. We don't plummet like a stone, and we can just go. And I think the cobalt, according to the map, should be around this way. Let's just check we set the ore detector to maximum range. Yeah, we did. And it should be kind of at the end, or somewhere past the end of this, before we hit the big grey landscape. So the range on this ore detector is 700. There's a mod that we've installed that extends the range, because it is annoying to go and hunt. It also means that you can fly a bit higher, especially in unfamiliar terrain. Iron, silicon, nice to know, but not what we're after. Silicon, it should be somewhere around here, I think. So if the gods are smiling on us, we will and because we have a lot of antennas and our ore detector is set up to use the antennas. Oh, it's nickel. We've got quite a lot of range on those. There's the cobalt. Okay. So down over this way a little bit somewhere. We are pretty high. The atmosphere on this, there's some cobalt, on this planet is fairly thin. As you'll know from other streams with our donkey hauler. Okay, I don't really know how big this this thing is. Come down a little bit. A little bit of a hilly area. It looks fairly deep. Not super deep though. Okay, so this is over it. Yeah. So what I'm looking for is basically when you see the ore marker kind of flip-flop around, it gives you an indication about how big the site actually is. Yeah, because it's always trying to point you to what it thinks is the closest. Yeah. So this is fairly large. There's a few chunks in here. I'm going to come down so that we're not overlapping too many of these hills. You want to be fairly, like this is going to be the job site position. So you want this to be, have enough clearance from the stuff around it, because this is where PAM will return to when it's, this is like the drop pause, I think. So when it's drilling new holes, this is kind of really where it's going to come from. We are 55 off the ground, the cobalt is 73, so it's going to be about 20 meters underground. So that's looking okay. What I'm going to do is, because these trees can be a pain in the ass, I think this is one we can chop down, yeah. Let's clear the site a little bit. Maybe come back as far as this. Because I'm going to set the area to be pretty large. And then it's going to be fire and forget once the miner itself is set up. Those little bushes aren't going to cause us a problem. Yeah, this is still in the site. So clear out these. And that should be okay. Come back up here. Jump back in. Always a bit cautious about going through hydrogen. Okay, so this is going to be, I think this is going to be where our marker is. So let's set up a GPS. This is crate, and that's cobalt. Okay, and then let's come down. So that GPS marker is going to be where we fly to in a minute. Get over a deposit, and then right-click mine down until we see it. Okay, there we go. And we'll grab a batch now, so we'll left click. And grab a chunk. And this thing is pretty fast. Filling up. Okay, so we're in the red. Wait a second for it to drop out stuff. Grab the next chunk. And when I set up PAM, I set up so that we drop at the drop pos rather than the current position. Nice. Okay, that's a decent haul. Let's head back to base. Get a little bit of altitude. And now, because we have the GPS marker, whoop, I'll get too closer. When we come out and we set up the PAM job, you know, we know how to get right on the nose. And what the other thing I like to do is I double check the altitude of any hills nearby. So like, you know, 75, we've got enough clearance here. Crystal mining base, that's what we want to go to. Oh, that's still about high. Back to base, drop this load off, and then we'll set up the PAM job. This scenario comes with speed mod, so you can get up to 300 on this. I think it, like I've not tested it, but I think it adjusts the speed of rockets as well. Because otherwise, if you go, rockets go at 200 meters per second. So if you're traveling faster than the rockets move, you can run into them. Let's get this thing to slow down. We're on track 4. I should number the tracks. Because we have multiple miners set up, you know, I use these tracks to indicate kind of where we are. Or if we just line up, we shouldn't bump into anything. It kind of should be okay. The only downside of this particular track is the where the ice mining is happening. I was going to play around using the length of the track as a guide, but to be honest, once PAM is actually set up, it's not a big deal. I just use it as a guide to how far I come out before I go up. So this is our dock. I can't actually remember the distance that I am from this. Fully loaded, it is a little bit heavy. Come on, straighten up. There we go. Probably a bit high. My keyboard is still a little bit twitchy. I need to change the activation distance a bit when I'm playing Space Engineers, so that it's not so precious. Is that going to do it? Yes. Okay. We were getting a bit low on cobalt, so that's why I decided to set up another one here. We do have a couple of asteroids that we can mine for it. Okay, that is empty, so let's keep it here. Go back to the screen, and now we're going to set up the record path and set home. The key buttons on this miner are different to what I normally have, so that should be it. And yeah, because of the complexity of the scene, the LCD refresh time is absolutely terrible. It's weird. I don't know what Keen have done to make things like this. But you can look at the programmable block and it shows you the menu here. So now it's actually recording the path. Okay, so we're good. We're on auto, so 9 to undock, come away, line up with the edge of our path, which is somewhere like this. Make sure the area is clear, and then come up. Okay, it's a little bit high. That's fine. I need a flight control system. And we know from our first fly through that we can be around 100 meters and we're clear. The undock procedure I take is a little bit slow because PAM can cut a few corners sometimes, and with the docking maneuver it's it can swing around. We know we're good at this type of height. Keep the speed up around 100. PAM is hard-coded to 100 meters per second, so even though we have the speed mod installed, it won't go any faster. But it does record the delays, so again, this is why I usually do this in 2 runs. Because I know the second run, you know, we've got a bookmark that we're aiming for. So switch to the outside camera. See our marker just there. We can come down. we're fairly confident we're not going to crash into stuff. We know this is fairly low. And then we're going to park right on top of it, because that's going to be our center point. Holding the Alt button down so we see the distance a bit better. Okay, there we go. Switching side. Tell PAM that we're here. Get ready to set up the mining job. So let's activate that now, and then before we go in and actually set this part up, we're going to go to Info, Show Sensor Field Range, go to an outside view. Okay, so that now shows us what PAM is aware of in terms of height, width, and depth. And then I usually come down here, something like this. So here you basically want to be aware of your surroundings. You know, hills and that sort of stuff can cause PAM to kind of get a bit stuck. So we're gonna be kind of centered on this flattish area. This PAM miner button number 4 doesn't align, so it aligns with the P gravity. And then we're going to go back in here, and we're going to make the range pretty large. So going to make the width something like that. Height something the same. And the depth, like we know cobalt is at 42. Our current depth is set to 30, so that's too small. So let's bump this up until we get to kind of where we're after. And then, yeah, an extra 2 meters should be fine. Go to the outside view, and then double check your position and the cameras and that sort of stuff. So that should be kind of spot on for us. It's now going here, and the next thing I do is I set the, can't quite see it here, start position. I make this to be center. Depth mode I leave to default, and then I say that's good, I'm happy with that. Let's start the new job. And then I go and tweak behaviors. I usually try and do this before I start, but I don't always remember. And I'm going to set the ejection to be on, and then the toggle sorters to be on, and the ejection I set to be drop pause and for stone. And I come back. Hopefully the sound too loud. It looks pretty loud. Let me just tweak that. I'm super paranoid about sound after the terrible audio in the last stream. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Let me know if the sound now is okay. We're inside the miner, so it's kind of the loudest it's going to be. That would help a lot. And I come back and I hover on the stop. I make sure the cursor is at the stop position. And then if like things go pear-shaped, you can just hit apply, and it will stop kind of everything that it's doing. So it's come out. It goes to the drop position. Drops off the stone. And that makes sure that you're not picking it up again. If you drop in the same place that you're drilling, you pick up a chunk of the stone that you've just dropped. And yeah, everything just takes a bit longer. If you drop at the drop position, then it despawns and that sort of stuff. We can see the cobalt, which is good. So we know we're going down to the right type of depth. The first hole is always going to be, more rock than ore. It looks like it's 100% rock. Only just touched the cobalt. By the look of it. That's the earlier hole that we dug yet. So this is the new hole. You can't do, PAM can't do right-click mining, so. I think it's just because there's no, the API for Space Engineers doesn't include anything for right-click. And we should be hitting the cobalt about now. Unless the first hole is a complete dud and we just missed the cobalt ore. Which sometimes happens. I'm not seeing, like, we are under a marker. It may be that our depth is not quite right. But we'll see that in a second. And again, like, this is the second run, so it's a sanity check that we got our settings set up right. It knows about the job site. It knows about the home position, so we can always kind of reset, as it were. And if you find that you're not in the right place, then what I would do is I'd say stop the job. I'd tell it to fly to the job site, and then I'd reset it up again from there. Are you guys using PAM? Let me know in the chat or in the comments. Okay, it's going back into the same hole, which is good. That means we're not at the end depth yet. Now, I think you can set up automated mining using the AI scripts, but I've not had a proper try for it yet. I have a feeling this hole might be a dud. It says we're oh no, maybe not. 13 meters from it. Ah, there it is. So we should have picked some up in that run. Yeah, we got a little bit. Okay, so now we should be able to sanity check that we got the mining job set up right. Okay, now we should go back in the same hole. And then, if it does, then I'm fairly confident that we've got things right. PAM is great, so it monitors things like the battery levels. If you've got reactors, it monitors the uranium that's in there. In fact, that's caught me out a couple of times. I've built a mining ship, and one that's had a jumpstart reactor. And I've just built it. It's got batteries, so it's got a charge. I dock it. The Izzy's inventory management script loads in uranium into all of the reactors that it can access, which usually doesn't include the jumpstart reactor, because usually that's on the outside, so you have a port to it, and it's not conveyed in with the main conveyor network on the ship. And so I've set, I've got those things set up. I forget to put uranium in the jumpstart reactor. I go and set PAM up. I set up the job, I do 2 runs, all the stuff that we've kind of done here. And then I kick off PAM, and I usually sit in the miner for the first run, just to make sure that everything's working. And then PAM immediately stops and comes back to base. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why? I've set everything up. I'm sure I've set everything up right. And it's it's futzing around, and it's not going to mine. And then it suddenly hits me that I haven't put uranium in the jumpstart reactor, and PAM is saying, oh, we don't have enough uranium to successfully do the job. So yeah, that bites me in the ass a few times. And it's happened to me half a dozen times, so I'm sure I'll learn eventually. So PAM has gone to the drop site, it's dropped out everything. It's seen that the cargo is not going down that much, so it thinks we're full. And now it's taking us back home. And this is the final check that I do. So I want to make sure that we're properly docking up with the connector. Because we came out to a bookmark that we set up for the mining site, the journey to and from the home and the job site is usually pretty fast. Because I haven't paused too much. And the way it sets up the waypoints appears to be based on the ship speed. So the faster you're going, the less waypoints it actually sets up. The slower you go, the more waypoints it sets. Which is why it's always a good idea to go as kind of fast as you can between home and the job site when you're setting up that initial run. What was that? Nickel. Okay. There's a ton of nickel on Crete. Coming out here, we went over a ton of different deposits, which was actually really helpful because we ran out, and I could just pop out and find some. Although when you actually need it, trying to find a nickel site is that you don't have bookmarked is fun. So if this is successful, then essentially we have 3 miners set up. We've got one for ice, so we've got a very good hydrogen refueling point at this base. We've got one set up for crystal, which we can use for building lasers, which come as part of the scenario. And we've got one set up for cobalt. The 4th one I want to set up for gold. We've already scouted out the area for it. Because I've struggled a lot to find decent asteroids with gold so far. I've only found one that had gold and platinum. But this site is pretty good. So the our tick, our base building tick, worked fairly well. Slightly off target when it came to where we dropped it, and there's a few design changes that I want to make to it, which we may do today. Because there's a few more mines that we want to set up. We have, what do we have? We have crystal now. We have not Dorium, but the other one. What's that other ore? Can't remember now. But I think we have 2 of the 3. Okay, and success. It bounced off the floor, which is good. It didn't come down too close to the connector, so we survived the swing around. Oh, sweet. Okay. And that's happily gonna, you know, it'll unload, charge the batteries, and then go off for the next run. And because we set up a pretty large area, you know, that's going to give us a ton of cobalt. Not that we need lots. So that's good. So this is swimming along. We've got prisms, which come from the crystals. So that's handled. I think we need what do we need for the lasers? So there's a laser welder. There's a laser cutter. And then we have these two lasers here, which are weapons. So there's a laser turret and static firing. One. And we need laser amplifiers for that, and that. So let's have a look. Production. Laser amplifier. 5 prisms per amplifier. And there were quite a lot of... How many amplifiers here? Oh, that's just 10. It's 15, so the welder is pretty good. What does it give us? I don't know if that's is it just a larger area? What do we need for the guns? That's 100, and that's 100. So we need 500 of the prisms. And what do we have? Oh, yeah, we're far from that. So that's going to take a while to produce. Again, this is why we have this base set up, is to handle that. And yeah, we can just leave those to, you know, figure out, you know, do the mining and so on and so forth, and that's going to be fine. And the PAM in controller mode is going to handle making sure that we're only sending the miner out when we have space in cargo. That one is dumping a lot of stone for some reason. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. This is going to be our gold one. Custom data 203 gold, and let's create. I think it's we can turn that one off. Turn the gateway off. There's a silicon. I always get the AU and AG mixed up. I think AU is the gold. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're on auto. I have a bookmark already set up, so we're gonna get PAM to record the route. It is 10 kilometers away. So let's go in here, go back here, and then record path and set home. Our engines are on. Wait for the screen to update. And PAM already knows. Like if we look at the programmable block, it will, you know, it's already on the menu, but this LCD screen is not as connected. You know, Keen have some weird mechanic behind the scenes for updating LCDs. It should be event based. Come on. Yeah, you're already on. Now you decide to update. Okay, so unlock, come forward, switch to external view, come to the kind of end of our runway, which I can't really see. Should be about here. Okay. Give it a second to catch up. Probably want a little bit higher on this one. Not too high though. Okay. So when I've got the height, things like undocking and that sort of stuff, I always try and wait a second. Because I want to make sure PAM doesn't make too many shortcuts. Okay, that is too high. We do need a bit of height. Yeah, I've had a problem before where the waypoints are kind of too close together, and PAM does a swing between them, and that's caused me problems before. So I'd like to be around 350. This one wasn't super easy to find. There's a lot of different ore types in this red place. Okay, so that should be good. So we can come down. The atmosphere is pretty thin, so I want to make sure I'm not getting above 1,500. Otherwise, there's a chance we can fall into space. So we can drop some altitude now. These dunes aren't that big. Yeah, there's nickel. There's some gold. Let's get on top of our marker. Drop down until we're on top of it. Text coloring is not always helpful. Okay. And can we still see the gold? Yeah, that's good. Okay. So stop recording. So now we've got our home and job site. And this time I will remember to set the behavior up first. Ejection should be on, and drop position stone. Toggle sorters on. Okay, hunky dory. And now the mining job. So essentially the same. Excuse me. Essentially the same process as before. I already see the boundary, so I know that I've got show sensors on. We want to make this again pretty big. We're also pretty high off the ground, so let's move into position first. And you know, here there's quite a lot of hills around, so I don't want to get too. I don't want those hills to be too much inside our It's 48, and this is pretty deep. I don't want them to be too much inside the sensor box, because I've had PAM get stuck before. So altitude of 50 and the gold is 68 down, so we can kind of come down here a bit. A little bit more. So we see that we're intersecting with the ground. Let's tweak these. Going to make it quite large again. And let's come out. Yeah, so this is fairly flat terrain. So that gives me confidence about the height that we're at. You know, PAM is not going to get stuck on here. We can probably make the range even bigger. I don't actually know if there's a limit. That was the wrong button. Okay. So let's make it square. We're at 26, so we can come down. Like 20 is where I aim for. Okay. That's looking good. I don't see lots of hills, so we should be okay. The gold is at a depth of 39, so that's what we need to check next. Yep, we are too shallow. I usually like to go like 2 meters deeper than the marker is showing me, which I found works most of the time for me. And then we're going to go down and we're going to make sure that the start position is center. And then, yeah, that looks good. We'll come out so it's not so noisy and it's easier to see. Captain Arthur has done a really nice job with this scenario. You know, the planets, the textures, the vistas, and the views, and those sorts of stuff is pretty cool. Okay, this is the drop position. Sorters are on. Do I see stuff moving? What's going on there? Says that we're too heavy. Looking at the, well, it doesn't say. I've not seen that, but looking at the movement of these things off. Yeah. The ejectors were off. Although I thought I'd configured that. It may be that I turn them off at the base because it was dumping the stone. But that's fine. So it knows the drop position. It knows the home position. We can double check that it gets home okay. It aligns up with the connector and that sort of stuff. It's going to dump this stuff before we get home. PAM won't stop mid-flight and go back to the job position. It'll complete its job. And if you go into and look at the PAM screen, it says the ejection failed. Okay. But I'm not going to abort it. But while I'm here, I will clean up the control stuff, because because I've not done it on this one. Oh. I moved the mic in a different position. It's in front of the keyboard, so can't always see the keys. Do I have batteries? Yeah. So we turn those off. Drills we can turn off. Ejectors. Don't want to see them. Gyros. A lot of sorters. Take those off. Yeah, I need to check out Whip's renaming the script. It'd be nice to have a better system in place. Okay, here we are. Yeah, that turnaround is not. It's fine. It should work without any problems, but it's kind of not optimal for the journey. But it's fine. Always gives me a slight heart palpitation. I see it coming in and worry it's going to smack into another miner. That looks good. Okay, and that's docked up. Spewing out the stone, but I'm not too worried about that. We don't need stone, and yeah. We can be a bit smarter about how that works using event controllers maybe. I prefer event controllers to timers. Okay, and hopefully that's gonna finish doing what it's doing and then go off again. Probably when it's finished ejecting the stone. We can actually, I'm fairly confident that the sorters are working. Ejection failed. So in this situation I can either leave it, or the other thing you can do is basically I hit stop, which is where the carrot currently is. And then the LCD screen will take a little bit to catch up. And then I come down to continue job. Again, LCD screen. If they'd use a proper eventing background in the engine, then the screens would update straight away. But they're not doing that. I know there's a lot going on in the environment, lots of miners and programmable blocks and that sort of stuff, but it's not actually that much. And then what I do is I say continue job. And let's just check PAM. Yeah, job is running. So now we come out, get out of the way. And then once that, once it's finished charging batteries and it feels that the state is correct, it will go off and on its merry way and do that. So let's recap. Ice is going okay. Crystal's going okay. We have cobalt being mined. Look at that. Look at that orchestration of beautiful miners doing their thing. I need more colors and to fix the names, but yeah. So we have gold, ice, cobalt, and crystal, all up and running. What's the status here? 53%. And that's going to be the same on all of them. So, it's a lot of hydrogen that we have, which is very nice, because the Calypso, our big beast over there, has I think it's got 4 large tanks inside, maybe more, and that to fill it up takes a lot. So yeah, that's good. We've got crystal being processed, so I think we're kind of done here, at least in terms of the ops. All our miners are up here, all properly named and numbered. That's the current ranking for the scenario, so different factions. Unfortunately, it doesn't list our faction in there, which is a bit of a pain. So that's done, that's done, that's done. This thing is good. We could move the shipbuilding platform, but I don't really think we need to at the moment. At some point, I do want to make a better version of this this docking arm, because it's all manual at the moment. And I saw a nice script. I can't remember who did it now, but there's a script for cranes, which equally applies to these arms. And I think you can set up like a control seat and then use the mouse buttons and get the whole thing to move in a way which is much better. Never tried it. I saw it was there, and it's on my to-do list. We do need to set up a better dock. I'm not sure I'm going to do that now. We probably can get away with just making a couple of small tweaks to this one. Let's get a bit of plate and just put a little bit of out here. And yeah, these barriers, these handrails don't make much sense. I need to turn the projector off. Let's go and do that. Hit it over here. Okay. Because now we have this big ship, it's got a big arse. And yeah, we need a little bit more space. Not that we need to build lots of blocks going out. We'll keep it fairly minimal. We have this X here, which we use for our main gunship to come in and dock. So that's where we kind of aim for. And I'm using this back line now. In fact, we will decorate that better. And we're going to use this back line as the backstop. So we want the back of the ship, this part, to align with this line, so that we have a guide. Like this. So that will make it kind of easier to see when we're coming into land. This ship is at a slightly weird angle because the handrails were on there, and there were handrails at the back, and it was yeah, not pretty. So we want to come into this kind of area. So do one block before. So that's where we will align to with our landing gear, and then that's kind of here. You know, I'd be a little bit generous with it. Throw out a couple more blocks here. We'll need a couple of landings before we're confident that this is right. The problem is we're not going to be able to build there or here without lifting this beastie up, which we can do. This is a beautiful ship. I'm loving this ship. It's heavy and it's not particularly fast, at least not yet. But there's some tweaks that we'll do to improve that. And these rear pods, these rear nacelles, and these sections here, they rotate to provide additional thrust. So let's lift this baby up. I don't actually need to come in here to do this. What I will do, however, is just check the tanks. Okay, they're at 82%. So we can throw those on stockpile. And they'll fill up quickly because we have the main tanks outside. I think what we're going to do, instead of going to the control deck, we'll go to the control seat that we have at the rear, just to lift her up, because maybe there'll be a slightly better view from that. And I'm not even sure we need to. We don't have the landing gear on here, do we? No. Okay, we have a group for it. I'll put it here. I'm not sure what it should be in for. So engines on. I'm still connected. I'm going to keep that connected for now, because all we're going to do is tilt it up a bit, and it shouldn't. We shouldn't have too many problems, I don't think. Get rid of the landing gear. Okay, it's already locked. That was the wrong way around. There's the thrusters. Okay, that should be up enough. Yeah, we're going to have to put some heavy armor in, but this is only so that we can sort the landing gear out. I think if we put whoa, hello. Right, you're going to go red now, you little git. Okay. And that's the same, yeah. Okay, can we, oh, don't get burned by the thruster. We can't sneak anything in there. The best we can do is that. So let's change the color and use that as a guide. There we go. So that's docked up now. I think what we'll do is we'll disconnect the connector, lift it up a little bit, and hover in place. Do I have the connector here? No. Maybe that's what that number 3 slot is for. it's the rear hanger, starboard, top port, top star. I still don't know what half of these. Connector module bay. Hello? Why is that not being shown? Well, okay, it doesn't matter for now. Turn that off. Five. And then bring her up a bit. There we go. There's a lot of thrust here, so it damages stuff. We have to make, we have to sort out some heavy armor in this place. Why is that not the right? Oh, it is now. Okay, and then roughly the same here. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's a big beast. And we'll come here, straighten her out a little bit. Maybe I should have done that beforehand. Bring her back a touch. Oh shit! It's the controls are reversed. Is that right? May crash into the connector. Yeah, and we did. I should have reversed it. That was a bit stupid. Oops. Bring the piston in. Around. There we go. Okay, now we should be good. Take a quick look before we... Kind of looks okay. Can't actually see if we're level though. Oh, it looks like we've landed on the back thrusters. Come up a little bit. What is that red symbol that's... Oh, it's the unknown signal. Okay, let's try this. Okay. And then turn everything off. Take a quick look. Green. Green. So we're green on two sides. That's fine. Okay. Okay, I think like we are about done here. The only thing we haven't done yet is load it up. Like I don't need to take the prisons with us at the moment because we just don't have we don't have enough to really build anything apart from like maybe some welders. Is there anything else we want to take? Like there's lots of iron, but we have lots of iron already. Some cobalt. not a lot of components here, but we could. I don't really think we need to take them. I don't want to take ice. May as well start. We're already heavy. Already got a chunk of stuff on us. So I think we're okay. And this place I think is we can consider done. The only thing I would like to do at some point, and I'm not going to do it right now, is kind of have better lighting around this place because it's a little bit dark. And I wish the these spotlights would actually focus on my ships. And that's actually something else I noticed. It would be nice to have a daylight sensor so that during daylight you can turn the lights off, and then only at night when it's dusk, when the light level gets below a certain point, have the lights come on. But I think this place is is all set up and hunky-dory. So we'll leave that. We will come back at some point when I think there's enough crystal. Here we've got 33% hydrogen in those tanks, so that's a ton. So we're good. So there's two things I was thinking about doing next. One is that there is a ROS crystal research station nearby. It's they support GC, and we don't like GC, so they're the main antagonists that we're up against. You know, we are the heroes, of course. So there's that research station that we could take out. They're neutral to us at the moment, so we can land on their landing pads, and we're not going to get shot at. They do have some defenses. They've got 2 artillery guns and 4 Gatling guns and 2 laser turrets. So we could actually go and take those things out. The thing is, I don't really need the base. We have 2 bases set up on Crate at the moment, and it doesn't give us anything apart from something to salvage, I guess. So there's no real need to take it out. So that was one of the things. The other thing I was thinking of is heading back to our asteroid base, and we've got a ton of stuff there that we need to do. We need to finish off the landing pad for the Calypso, which was our shipyard. We need to put in some more defenses. We need to finish a lot of building that we've kind of started and we're just kind of put in place and never kind of rounded off. So there's that as well. I'm leaning towards that, but if you have any preferences, now's the time to let me know. Yeah, so I'll give you a minute to think that through. I didn't sleep very well last night for some reason. Wrong button. The other thing, if we go back to our main base, our asteroid base, is we can work on the tick, base deployer that we have. This ship, we've been using this for it, and from what I understand, this area here, this hangar, is designed to be an expansion port to this ship, to the Calypso. And he's got a couple of modules already that he's developed for it. One is a refiner and more storage and that sort of stuff. So it acts as a standalone ship, but also docks with this and expands the Calypso with more capabilities, which is a pretty cool concept. And I was actually wondering about using it for the tick. So having the tick kind of docked in here built to kind of fill this fill the space, and then yeah, we can deploy it. So that's one of the things I was thinking of doing, but we'll do that back at the asteroid base. The other thing I want to do is that this section here, this is a kind of front hangar. This section here is a ramp, and like I'm not going to use it. It's on 2 hinges. It looks cool, but like I'm not really into ground vehicles and that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking about converting this to be something that is hinged, to something that is kind of fixed in place. And then we can use it as like a normal hangar. We can put stuff in here and just anchor it down. This part here are 2, I've not actually tried this yet, but these are 2 missiles, homing missiles, that use the Whip's lamp mechanic script. So we have to try those out sometime as well. It does need to be updated, like the Calypso is a little bit old. But look at those warheads on there. So there's a homing script. I think there's a camera on the top. Yeah. So it can independently, you kind of aim towards the thing that you want to hit, launch the missile, and yeah, it will it can independently lock on and home in. So that's going to be worth a try sometime. That could be really, really useful. And it's got these little these missile doors on it, and that could be another option. We can turn this into like a cruise missile ship. We can put in more of those up here and give this thing a bit more firepower. At the moment, it's got these rocket launchers on the side. It's got those Gatling guns that I've upgraded, and it's got some interior turrets scattered around. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the interior turrets. Okay, so before we say adios here, I'm gonna just top up on energy and hydrogen and that sort of stuff. I will try to keep plenty of hydrogen bottles ready to go on this planet because, yeah, jetpack. Okay. Hasta la vista, baby. I think we're going to head back to our asteroid base. And that's going to be the first challenge, is getting off the planet. So we've not tried getting off yet. It should be okay. Shouldn't be any problems. But I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch. At some point, we need to do some work on the interior. Some parts are great, and I like it, and but some parts are like why do we need contracts? What are these programmable blocks for? We've got like 8 cryo chambers. Like we don't need 8. So I want to make it kind of a little bit more personal. But the ship, fantastic. Love the ship. Yeah, I can't sing its praises enough. Boz did a really spectacular job. So before we go, let's take a quick look at what we've got. I think we're fairly heavy. Where's the main cargo? Yeah, this one's half full. We do have some ice. We do have parachutes in the parachute. Yeah, okay. What are we weighing now? Okay, well, yeah, we are pretty heavy. 10 tons. 10,000 kilograms. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna have a fisherman's friend with mince. Okay. So let's. I think we want atmospheric and hydrogen. We've got our VTOL down, pointing down. No, that was the wrong button. So let's start it up. Quick check that the thrusters are actually working. Okay. Let's do this. This could go pear-shaped. It might not. It might go swimmingly. In my experiments with our donkey hauler, we would get up to about this height, and then yeah, we would come down pretty quickly. I was experimenting with different combinations of thrusters, and yeah, the experiments didn't always go well. So far, that's looking good. I think I can switch toolbar. Oh shit, that's the wrong button. Okay, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Okay, so P gravity is going down nicely. As you can see, she's not a fast ship. Okay, I think we can turn on the ion thrusters now. And we can turn off the atmospherics. Okay, so 0.1 gravity. We've got enough velocity that we should be good to clear. Let's bring up things so I can worry less about things. We don't need that. We don't need that. We do want to go home. Okay, we're out of yeah. So let's move our VTOLs around. And did you reignite? Yeah, you did. Okay. Then when I just after I first printed this, you know, printing from projections doesn't always go to plan. But I noticed that the what was the problem? That the software, the programmable block, and the VTOLs, they weren't wired up properly. They would move, but they wouldn't reignite. So I had to kind of rewire some of the things. Let's see out. Okay, where is our home base? It's in that direction, up by the rings. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to take a look at with this ship. Is it's a bit sluggish in turning, especially compared to what I'm used to with the gunship that we have. But that worked pretty well. Like, we accelerated pretty much all of the time to get out of gravity, and we used 2% hydrogen. So, you know, it's pretty efficient. Okay, jump drives. Whoops. Let's go home. Oh, did I pass it? Uranium base. No, actually, it's not the uranium base. It's new home. Maximum jump distance is 2,410. So we're going to try about 200 kilometers. I don't need that. Thought I'd turn these off. Okay, that's more like it. Which toolbar is the jump drives on? Hello? Are you just saving? There you go. So we can pretty much reach it. Okay, I just want to make sure we're stationary. Here we are. I once jumped when the ship was moving at like 220 meters a second. I jumped too close to my target, and I almost ran into my station. Okay, so that's gonna charge up. There's I need to set up an event controller. Yeah, I don't have one set up yet. For reactors. Are you, yeah, you're on. And the batteries are, yeah, fully charged. So I set up an event controller for monitoring the batteries, and when they're below a certain percentage, then I turn the reactors on. Just to keep things simple and not to chew through uranium. Like we have a ton of it, like 100K or 150K or something. But waste not, why not? So the jump drives are charging. I could have turned off one of the jump drives and jumped a shorter distance, and I think that way around it tends to work better. But look at this, you know, the dashboards are fantastic. You've got a good view of, you know, what's going on in the ship in here. The missile control system directly ahead. I'm itching to try and use it, but I want to use it on a kind of friendly target, or quasi-friendly target first, to see how that works. I don't want too much aggro. I like to test stuff before I have a bit of confidence in it. So yeah, really excited. I've not even looked at half of these things. That looks like fire control. And this one is engineering. But it's brilliant. Like, this ship is, you know, such a sexy beast. Oh yeah, I wanted to change the doors as well. Like a ready room. The usual stuff. And what is this one for? Oh, that's fire control for one of the turrets, and there's another one on the other side. .5 kilometer range. And there's a bunch of stuff that you can do with these. I'm not really sure what to call them. Missiles. No, they're real missiles. They're constructed things. So they have stealth mode. They have evasion tactics, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited to try. So at the asteroid base, let's think. Several things we need to do. One is that we need to finish off the landing pad. Like, we'll convert the big shipyard that we use to build this Calypso into a landing pad for it. We need a docking area for our gunship as well, because at the moment it's just a conveyor sticking out like a tab on the base. So it makes sense to see about kind of not necessarily combining, but kind of co-locating both of those things. And yeah, there's some capping off that we need to do on some of the holes on the asteroid. There's light armor blocks at the moment that are put in there, but there's no sculpting, there's no shaping around any of it. There's some decoration, there's some catwalks, there's some little stuff that we need to do. Oh, I should have left the Gladius. We have the Gladius in the cargo hold. I will show you that if you've not seen it already. I want to update these doors, these airlock doors, so that they're automatic. Yeah, we don't need all of these on there. And there's parts of the ship that I've still not explored yet. I think there's a way down over here that I've not yet found. Or what's this? There's nothing on this side. I think there's a way up over there. This way down is pretty cool. Drop down the tube, halfway you got an airlock, and then it drops you down the rest of the way. Is my light wasn't on. So this is the main hangar. These are the doors at the front that lead to the ramp. This part here is a ship printer, which I still need to work on a little bit. I think some of the buttons have become, part of the printing. They're not really hooked up properly. There's our jump drives at the back. There's some of them. There's the others around behind. Got 3 docking connectors just there. You've got 2 more just here, as well as collectors. 2 more just there. You've got 2 up the top. Like, this thing just has everything that you need and a little bit more. I've got another connector just here. I'm not really sure why the color scheme is different for these cargo containers, but they alternate. Some are yellow, some are grey. Survival kits on either side. This takes us to, this is the main airlock. There's sensors on this door, so if I bring a ship close to these doors, it will open them for me. And then it's got a rear manufacturing section. So this is engineering. And then we have access to, where is it here? Cargo and storage. Look at that, it's got 5 hydrogen tanks. Is that 5, 6? No one up there. And then additional storage. That's the printer. Yeah, I'm not even sure what half of the things do. But batteries, reactors, production. Is that so we can turn it off? Oh yeah, toggle. On off. And I've put a few bobs around here. Might as well turn production off while we're flying to save battery. And then to get back up to the bridge, it's just around here. But it's cool. I like. Okay, I think we're ready. And because we have ice on board, we're already refilling those tanks. Okay, now I need to remember where the forward view. Where's the hangar? I think it's over there. Ah, yeah. Okay. It's over this way. That's our main ship. I think it's the entrance is over that side. Although I do remember. What's that red? That's the station. I do remember we had to navigate around gunship. Using the VTOLs, it takes about 5 seconds, I think, to switch from the current orientation to the new orientation and to fire to start the engines. It looks like he turns the engines off, then does the move. Again, I can't quite remember how this was. Like, I need more lights. There's the... looks like the floor, so it looks like we come in from the other side. Let's swing around. Just not get too close. And I seem to remember there's a couple of death voxels. Okay, let's take a look now. Okay, so that's it, and we were parked on the right-hand side. So yeah, we swing in around from the other side, I think. And this is why we're coming back and why I want to work on this, is to fix up this landing pad. There's a couple of big rocks there. We do get jumped by space pirates every so often, so yeah, I think it was let's go past. There's the back of it over there, I think. There is a bit of clearance either side. Like, it's not much, but it's like 3 blocks. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, there's the printers, the welders. Yeah, there's the... I need to get rid of that. That's going to put a crimp in our day. Okay, so... Need to come around like this. I had I gotten rid of that death voxel before, but then as I mentioned before in an earlier stream, like GeForce Now was just being a real pain in the ass when I was using it. Most of the time it was fine, but then like the last week, the last 10 days, it was blaming a spotty connection, saying I had a spotty connection, and you know I tested my connection. I'd ran a speed test, I'd done a latency test, and there were no issues with it. But it was blaming me, and it was losing my saves. So I'd put like 4-5 hours in, you know, clearing out this docking area. Getting everything kind of ready, and yeah, it would lose everything. And it happened more than once. And at the end of the day, I just said, fudge this, and I went back to running everything locally. Okay, we've got to get clear of that rock. There we go. I think that's it. Now the other issue is my gunship is nearby, but we did get it out, so we should be able to get it back in again. I think it's sideways, so I'm not sure there's no other rocks. Oh yeah, this ship is I'm really loving this ship. And this is a design that Boz has done a few times. So this is the Calypso 4. So this is the 4th iteration of it. And he's got he's got some really helpful guides on like how to build it in survival, because there are 5 subgrids on this, and if you're not using the plugin mod for subgrids, it can be a little bit tricky. Although it's not, you know, it's not super hard to make. Like I did it with these subgrids using the mod, but doing it by hand and attaching the subgrids is not it's not a huge deal. Can just come down a bit more. I'm not sure where that rock is gone. It's directly ahead. Okay. Like a smart man would move the gunship. Okay, you really should have a light on you until I get rid of you. That rock. It's just there. Oh, okay. And we'll get rid of that now. think we can... It's like parking a new car, you know, you're always a little bit anxious at first. You want to scrape the paintwork. In fact, what I might just do, I can't remember how big this rock is. I don't want to leave the Calypso in this position for too long because we do get space pirates here jumping in. Come on. And yeah, they're pretty aggro. Some of them are pretty big. There's one of the Commodores. You know, he's got rockets that spew out of the front, and it does put a crimp on the day. Yeah, that was close. Come on. I was going to use I used the drill and fill mod. So it's from the same guy that built the nanobot build and repair. Come on. And I used that to scoop out the new this shipbuilding place. There's a little rock. Are you going to be nice for me? No. There's that one pixel that you can't get rid of unless you use voxel hands or the drill and fill. So let's chance it. Come on. It would be nice if there was an airlock closer to the bridge. I may put one in. It's not a massive deal, but it would make things a little bit quicker, especially when you're operating in space. And again, like safety's sake, I'm just gonna do that in case our death pixel gives us a hard time. And it goes through a hydrogen tank. That would be bad. Okay, we should be get rid of the crap on the screen. Looks good. You know, we're not going to be building another big ship like this, so we're going to get rid of the welders at the back. Turn the back area into like a viewing space, like a command and control, flight control center, that type of thing. We look roughly aligned. But I am as blind as a bat, so and the floor is not great in here. Let's try and make level. What's on the other side? I have that oh, that's close. Yeah, I want to change that. I want to have one that pistons in and out, I think. Oh, that was maybe too much. Even her out. Bring her around. Okay, that looks fine. Now, where's the other camera? Again, still getting to grips with where some of these things are. That was number 9, I think now. Yeah. Hopefully nothing will blow up. Okay. I think we're down. Those off. Irons off. And let me just double check. Fuel 97. Like, you know, we started out with 100% in a gravity well. So I'm pretty happy. Okay, good. Let's open these babies. It's a cool design. The hanger doors. 3 in the middle and give you a lot more space either side. Okay, a little bit far, but that's okay. The connectors aligned. That's really what I care about. A little bit, we're a little bit high because the angle. So that you have that landing gear attached. I have been, if you guys know of a good retractable landing gear mod, let me know. Because I would like something that is retractable and comes out a bit more than here. Because that would look pretty cool and be pretty cool. Sweet. Okay. We're not going to build another big ship, so we're going to start off by getting rid of these welders. Get Bob to do the work for us. Can't get the head sorted out. And we don't need these conveyors, so we'll keep the other one in. Because that will probably service our flight control deck that I'm thinking of making. Leave that down to there for now. We'll get rid of those by hand. And those ones. Come on, and you. There you go. Okay. So this is really what we're working with. Like, I think there's plenty of space here. Hello. What the? You? And you? There we go. So there's plenty of space. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the whole thing enclosed. Part of me thinks yes. Because this ship does not have a ton of defenses. And we do get harassed by space pirates. We need to take out that pirate station that's over there. It's pretty close. That would be a pretty big blocky thing to do. This area here is going to become a kind of flight control, like a control tower typey thing. So we're going to build that out and repurpose those things. I want to keep the kind of shipyardy feel, so we're going to have like conveyors and stairs and maybe some better spotlights to deal with that side of things. So that's one project that I want to kick off sooner rather than later. Probably give this a proper floor. And I was thinking about having kind of light color blocks around the periphery, and then dark color blocks around the border of where the ship will land, and then the yellow for the landing gear. We have Bob, the build and repair, set up. We actually used that as part of the ship build. We did start out using the welders, but then yeah, we got attacked and we had to change plan. And then it's this area that also needs to be fixed. So yeah, this was just a temporary thing, so we didn't get too much damage on the inside. It would make sense for us to maybe knock through this section into the asteroid, so we can bring ships in and out into the hangar of the ship. That would be pretty neat. Just want to double check that those thrusters are still there. Okay. As I did have them eaten off once before, so so that's going to come through to this part. Yeah, so we're going to have to chew out that part, but then we're going to come through to this main section, which is our hangar area for miners. Why is that's gone? Why is that gone? We have blocks there. We don't have blocks there anymore. Okay. Something happened while we were away. Yeah, so we've got to fix that. I think, and it probably means that these guns are now disconnected. Let's look at build info conveyor. No, that side is connected, but this side is disconnected from the rest of the base because of down here. What happened down here? Where's my green? Should be connected. Ah, that's the ship. That's the ship as well. Oh, it's because we're not conveyed in. That's okay. I'm going to use some kind of piston-y type thing here. And I'm thinking about setting up the AI blocks to do kind of an auto docking, so that we always come back into the right place. So that's my plan. And that's the next project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for a bit. I've got a couple of other things that I need to do. And when we come back, we're going to work through the fixing up the space and building up this dry dock. And by then, I would have had a few thoughts about how I want things to look. I'm just going to take a quick look at this over here. Oh, yeah. So here the missile launchers are the standard ones with small grids, and they can't be conveyed. So that's why that's showing red. Otherwise, you see the two different colors here. We have a yellow network and a green one. The green one is on the Calypso. And because that's not connected in with the connector to the main network, we have a yellow network as well. So that's to be expected. Really handy feature of the build info. So yeah. So yeah, I'm going to take a break, as I said. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it was interesting. Yeah. Please do let me know if the sound is okay. I will watch the video again, but I had some problems with yesterday's video that I recorded, and the sound of the thrusters was just like drowning out my voice, which some of you may think is a good thing. But yeah, yeah. So cool. Please like if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. Helps YouTube tell people that this is a place to come. So yeah, that would be good. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, and I will come back again soon.